Welcome to the Menfulness podcast. This is Critical Powers.
Yeah, welcome to my mind. Let's take a journey inside, look at my life. Doctor said I'd need help, so I tried. Starting on my trip to lean, you'll be alright. But I'm awake all night, my eyes wide open with bloodshot whites. I'm losing the track of time, I'm feeling fidgety and itchy, so I have to write. I'm trying hard, but my mind's a mess. I don't know if it's helping, check the side effects. I feel flutters in my body, light flies on my chest. I'm thinking, what the fuck, I'm already in line for my death. Feeling like I took class A's, now I'm in a rat race, dry mouth, bad taste. What the hell they gonna put me on next? I can't cope with the pressure that's going on in my head. My mind's not right, never felt like this in my life. Can't see straight, weird. What did he say? I'm losing it, I think I'm losing it. I need to get a grip. Come on Liam, don't let this slip. Chemicals, it's the chemicals in my brain, the chemicals in my brain. I feel it in my veins, I feel it in my brain. I'm going insane, it's not me, I swear it's the chemicals. It's the chemicals.
Critical Powers, welcome.
Thank you, man. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. It's taking everything I've got not to go. Critical Powers in the building! Thanks for being here, man.
Nah, thanks for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
You feeling good today?
I'm good, yeah. I'm really good. I'm in a good position now. So
Good.
it's been a minute since I've been interviewed. So
Oh, yeah?
yeah. So I'm looking forward to this one, man.
Oh, that's awesome,
Thank you
man.
for bringing me down.
Mate, no, thank you so much, genuinely, for giving us your time. I've been a fan for a long time,
Thank
and in particular, just how you managed to kind of be honest and vulnerable about what's actually going on with your life. You know, your rapping is not just for the sake of great rhymes, which it is. It's also kind of a message, and so that kind of struck me right from the start. But before we get into all that, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your name, age, where you're from?
Yeah. So my name's Liam, or Kritikal Powers. I'm a hip hop and grime artist from York. I'm 31 now, man. So does that mean I'm old? Yeah.
Absolutely
No,
not. You're talking to a
sweet.
37-year-old.
I've made music for 16 years now. I started when I was 15. Lived in York most of my life until the age of 13 when I moved to Wolverhampton. Went to live with my mum due to circumstances at the time. And found music when I was 15. And I've just sort of never stopped since, really.
And how was that? How did you get into it back then?
So I got into it because back then grime was just starting to become very popular. This is like 2003, 2004. And while I was in Wolverhampton, that's actually when I lost my father when I was 15 years old. So I remember being on the playground at school after that had happened, and friends of mine were like rapping. And I was just inspired by that, you know. I was like, how do you do that? And this one of my friends at the time, he said, come round to my house and we'll record something. I was like, I can't do that, you know. And he's like, no, come round. So I did it. I wrote this 16-bar verse.
He was 15 as well, was he?
Yeah, we was in the
way.
same year at school, yeah. And I wrote this 16-bar verse, and back then, man, it was like, do you know you had to put the phones together to send a track? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like infrared dots on the phone.
Yeah.
It went around the whole school, this song, and everyone started to like say the lyrics what I'd said on this track.
Whoa.
And up until that point, I'd never really had like any like respect, really. It wasn't that people disliked me in secondary school, in high school. Particularly when I went to Wolverhampton, because there people were so nice and accepting of who I was. They all just sort of embraced me, really. But it was never like a respect thing. It was just like, oh, Liam's all right, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
But that totally changed the game, because then people started to respect me, and I kind of got a bit of a hunger for that then.
Yeah.
But very quickly I found that it was a way of expressing myself.
Yeah.
Because I was so shy and traumatized from what had happened as a child that I just couldn't talk to people about it.
Yeah.
So this was a really special moment for me, because I just lost my dad, and I thought this is the perfect way of me communicating them messages. And back then it was MSN and MySpace. Yeah, so we'd send like beats through MSN. There wasn't like YouTube popping off like it is, you know. It was literally, you had MySpace where you could upload 4 songs, I think.
Right.
And And
So you had a MySpace account with your raps that you were recording with you and your mates. So you were still collaborating online.
Yeah.
But before there was the proper networks to really
Mate,
do
this
it.
was before SoundCloud.
Yeah.
SoundCloud didn't exist. I think my SoundCloud I opened that account in like 2009.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, crazy.
Yeah, and
Crazy.
so I mean, at such a young age for you to go through something like that, man. I'm so sorry. Did you move to Wolverhampton because of that situation, or what was the move?
So what actually happened was, obviously, growing up as a child, father's an alcoholic, and I want to make this clear before I start this actually, because I don't think I've made it clear enough in the past. Like, my childhood wasn't all horrendous.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
And my dad wasn't a bad person.
Yeah.
It was just he was consumed by his own pain.
Yeah.
And wasn't able to deal with it. And we're talking about a time when there wasn't the same support as there is now.
No.
There wasn't Menfulness.
No.
There wasn't support groups. There was AA probably.
Yeah.
And that was about it. So I can't help but feel like if my dad would have been born 30 years later, he'd still be alive.
The conversation's more normalised now. People can reach out earlier, can't they?
Yeah, but we didn't talk about things back then.
No.
You weren't allowed to.
Yeah.
Just totally contradictory to what I promote now and what
Of
you guys
course.
promote.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why I resonate with what you do so much. But we can get into that.
Yeah,
But like, what had happened was growing up in that environment, it was like witnessing things that you shouldn't as a child.
Yeah.
So self-harm, you know, just anger and all sorts of stuff, you know, arguments, pain, and drink driving. You know, I'd be in the car with him, literally drink driving. And I remember he looked at me one day and he said, he'd rolled the window down of the car. No electric windows back then, mate. Do you know what I mean? It was old school. And he'd wind the window down and throw the empty bottle out the window into the fields as we drove past. Literally just down the road from where we are as well.
Right.
So it was weird.
Yeah.
Weird. It's like memory
Coming
lane
back,
today, man.
Of course, man.
And he'd look at me and say, "Don't ever tell your mum." So like that's the kind of thing.
You were keeping sort of secrets about stuff that it was really traumatizing for you.
Yeah.
And
But the weird thing is like it wasn't traumatizing then.
Right.
It didn't.
you didn't register.
No,
as that.
because that was just
You didn't
the
know any
reality.
different. Yeah, man. Fuck.
And I didn't really start to see the problems until I started to go to friends' houses,
Yeah.
because I was like, this is weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, why is this family so weird? And I started to think, well, is it them who are weird, or is it me that's weird? So I remember thinking that as a kid.
Yeah.
But the reason I moved was because my mum was moving to Wolverhampton. She'd found a new partner and
Right.
all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And my dad just wasn't capable of looking after me.
Yeah. So he was in York, your mum moved to Wolverhampton, you went with and changed schools, and that's quite a pivotal time in your life as well, isn't it, at 15 years old?
Yeah, so I moved when I was 13.
Right.
I did 2 years at Joro,
Yeah.
and then, 13, moved to Wolverhampton, started brand new high school, brand
Yeah.
new friends,
Yeah.
didn't know anybody, which is a challenge in itself.
Absolutely.
But actually, I met some of the best people I've ever
Yeah.
met in Wolverhampton.
And found a passion that's lasted your entire life since.
Absolutely, yeah.
So can you remember what that first rap that you did with this guy was about then? You got any idea what it was?
I can't remember exactly.
Was it a personal, did you start off by rapping about stuff that meant something to you? Or was it playing with lyrics, or how did you...
It was really like, because we got told to write 8 bars, right? There was 3 of us.
Yeah.
It was me, the mate I told you about, and,
Yeah.
and another friend who's actually still my best friend right now,
amazing.
actually. He's the only person I really keep in touch with. Big
Yeah.
up Phil. Yeah, man. And we got told to write these 8 bars, and it was over like a grime beat. And I just ended up carry on writing. I was
Right.
like, oh, I didn't even know how to write a bar.
Yeah.
Didn't know how to write lyrics. I just writ it, you
Yeah.
know. I didn't really overthink it. It was garbage, mate. It's embarrassing, you know. But it sort of gave me that
Yeah.
fuel, and actually, it was like, I think I'm onto something here.
Yeah.
You know.
Were you listening to rap and stuff at that time then? That was your...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've always listened to all sorts of music, but then it was like, grime was just starting to become really big in the underground. So it was Skepta,
Yeah.
JME,
Yeah.
Kano, Getz, Wiley.
Big on lyrical content. Like nowadays, it's not quite as big on the kind of concepts and the
Nah.
wordplay as it was then.
Yeah, so we had like Wretch Free 2 was out then as well. and he was like known as the content guy.
Yeah.
So we had like flow guys, and
Yeah,
content
I
guys.
see. Yeah.
And Getz was like the flow guy. So he was
Right.
really aggressive. And
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
listen to any of his music, you should go check it out.
Yeah.
You'll see where that sort of venom comes in. Like he's just got like pure rage in
Yeah,
in
yeah.
his voice, whereas Wretch was like more relaxed and it was all about concepts and
Yeah.
ideas, a bit more like the Tupac side of stuff, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, those were my inspirations, and then I started to sort of link up with people in Wolves who were like doing it as well, and I looked up to them. So I
Yeah.
started to sort of try get in the studio with them, and
So there was a bit of a scene there, and there was opportunities
Yeah.
for you to kind of try and grow this a bit.
definitely, yeah.
So it started in Wolverhampton then. It didn't start in York at all.
I had no interest in writing music
Yeah.
in York,
Right.
none at all. I've
Right.
always loved listening to music,
Yeah.
but nothing like. I remember my brother said to me years ago when I was a kid, he was like, if you listen to every song, it's got a story behind it.
Yeah.
And I started to like, so I was listening to like Michael Jackson, and
Yeah.
my dad always played Johnny Cash. So like, it's all those kinds of things. Like they
Yeah.
are stories, you know.
And Johnny Cash bears his soul throughout
Absolutely.
his music, doesn't he?
Yeah. But the reason I do this, to me, the genre is not important.
Right.
It just happens to be what I fell into at that moment in time in life.
I
You know,
see.
if
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, if it was like 60 years ago, I'd probably be making Johnny Cash songs. Do you know what
Yes.
I mean? It's just like
I
that,
see.
that's the vehicle
Yeah.
that was available to me at the time,
Yeah.
and I felt like I got all right at it. So.
Yeah, man. Well, absolutely. And then, what next? What brought you back to York, and when did that happen?
So I came back to York after I finished high school, did absolutely terrible in my GCSEs because obviously my dad died when I was 15.
Yeah.
I'm going into my last year of school. I was totally disengaged, man. You weren't getting
Absolutely,
no GCSEs out of me. I think I passed one,
Yeah.
and that was like IT, I think.
Yeah.
The rest of them were, I think I got like 5 or 6. I sat 5 or 6 more and didn't pass any of them. I didn't pass English or maths. So later in life, I had to go and get those.
Went back
know,
to.
I went to
studied-
college, yeah.
Did you?
and
Yeah.
I got those grades.
Fair play, man.
Um,
That's awesome.
just to prove I could do it, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, I came back to York after I finished high school. Went to live with my sister, and then shortly after that, I did that to pursue music.
Yeah.
So I ended up going to the Jam Factory
Oh yeah.
for 2 years, music technology, because I wanted to know how to record myself more professionally. I wanted it to sound professional. So I just studied it, OCD type, you know. I was
Yeah.
just like, I do it now. I'm
Yeah.
just,
Hyper focus.
yeah, I obsess about audio so much, and I sit there for hours just trying to make a kick sound right, you know, like
Yeah.
twisting buttons and that. Like,
Yeah.
I just obsess with it, you know. It's the same with words, like how many times can I rhyme with this many syllables, and how many rhymes can I milk out of this one word, you know?
Right. So it's a proper
Yeah.
like rigorous process.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's exciting though, man. And where do you do that then? You mentioned that there's an undisclosed location somewhere.
Yeah, man.
Tell me about where you do all this.
So I've now got a recording studio, but before that I was recording out of bedrooms.
Where's yeah.
Literally, I think I went in an actual studio once,
Right.
and that was on a project that I did.
Yeah.
Not even for my own gain, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because I was in 2004 and 5. People didn't want to give you information.
Right.
It was all sort of quite secretive. Or
Okay.
you'd maybe get a beat off one producer. It wasn't like you go on YouTube and just find beats.
Yeah.
You had to be lucky enough to know someone to get in.
Was it because it was people protective over
Yeah,
their
it
own
was-
success? Like, if
Yeah.
you succeed, I won't, sort of thing.
I think it's a bit of that, and a bit of just like, it wasn't that popular.
Right, I see.
Like everybody now is a rapper. It's like a clout thing. Do you know,
Yeah,
everyone's in the music industry, and it's all like really cool and it's fashionable. I was doing it when like no one was doing it, mate. Like honestly, I came back to York and there was 2 other people rapping. That was it.
Right,
So like, and now everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's great for the scene.
of course.
But what the point I'm making is like there just wasn't access to anything.
no.
It was sort of like you was looked at like, what's this rapping stuff about, mate? Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It was a bit
yeah.
like you're just a rapper.
Yeah.
A bit like you're just a youth worker, you know.
But you must have had quite a lot of determination if that was kind of what you were met with when you came back here. No real scene, not really anyone to collaborate with.
Yeah.
Still in the early days as far as like the internet and, sharing music and online collaboration.
Definitely.
How did you what kept you going at that point?
Just like the storytelling element of it. It was like a therapy for me.
Right.
Because I still wasn't confident enough to address issues with like a professional or anything like that.
I see, yeah.
So I kind of dealt with it that way.
It was your own therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah. You talk about wearing masks in some of your songs, and because you couldn't, it's the only way you could sort of hide the pain that you were going through. And I wondered whether or not Critical Powers was like an alter ego, or because when I first met you, it was with in meeting with Inspired Youth.
Yeah.
Shout out Kev Curran.
Big up Kev.
Yeah, man. And yeah, you were sat just in the room, and we were talking to Kev, and he was like, "This is Liam," and then it's like, "Oh, and Liam's a rapper, by the way." And I was like, "All right." Well, and you were so calm and chilled and easy to talk to. And then it was like, got home, listened to what you were rapping. It was like, felt like two totally different people.
Yeah.
And so I wondered how is it a conduit for your experiences? Is it a way to vent? Is it a processing mechanism? How would you describe?
It's all of those things.
Yeah.
It's like the most confident version of myself I could possibly be.
Right, yeah.
But I don't walk around as Critical
No.
Powers, because I can't.
Yeah.
It's like, this is who I am.
Yeah.
Who I am right now, but there's another side.
Yeah.
And it is like an alter ego. It's a bit like the Slim Shady thing.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, what am I physically capable of? And that pure anger and aggression comes from a place of just pure pain and torment, and like just wanting to highlight issues, really.
Yeah. Well, the album that was out at that time, the one that I thought had just come out, but it sounds like it was maybe a couple of years before, was the Liberation album. And from track one, it's like you don't hold back. You can tell that this is going to be you and your experience, and it's not going to be an easy listen, but it just connected with me straight away. And I think a lot of people will hear it, and even if they haven't been through this, not many people will have been through the same amount. You can kind of connect with that little boy who was bullied, or that little boy who struggled with bereavement before they knew how to process. Everybody has had something go on that they struggle to process, and so then you hear someone venting it, and it feels like, it's not just me. There's something real powerful about being that vulnerable and honest.
The path to liberation is a battlefield. I'm on fire when I'm spinning like a Catherine wheel. L's up in the air now if you feel down. A distorted path that calls you back every time you order that. You just want to be free. Bottle the beef, them sharks will get you in the sea. I'm under the impression that living life is a lesson, just to see how much you can physically take before you crumble. Living with depression and aggression, trying to find an equal balance between happiness and loneliness, cause happiness has never been eternal. Lost so many people like I even have a circle of friends, but it depends on who can prove their loyalty. I don't want apologies, I don't want you to follow me. Can you understand the feeling of losing someone that you love, knowing that you'll never see their face again? I'm feeling cheated and used for everything that I've done. Kindness for weakness, I've been falling to pieces. I don't have time for all that he says, she says, cause negativity breeds stress, and I don't need this. I was almost dead on a hospital bed, so don't ever tell me I don't know about stress. Feeling guilty cause I didn't want to leave my own son. I knew I made a huge mistake, I told myself to hold on. The worry that I put into my sister and mum, I feel ashamed for all the bad things that I have done. And I'm sorry if I hurt you in the process. My body's young, but I've got an old head, an old mind. Growing up fast, I grew up at a price. Daddy was an alcoholic, mum did the best she could. I really couldn't wish for a better mum. This is just a fraction of my pain on the track, but I'm working through it, I don't ever wanna look back. My son needs me, I'm not a part-time dad. No one can ever change that. I'll believe it, so I'll say that. So I've got more of a reason to make it. I have to be strong just to make all these changes. Went from nothing to being played on the radio station. Welcome to my journey. Liberation.
It's not easy, life's not meant to be easy, I don't think. I feel like it's just a big test. That's how I look at it, it's like a game, it's a test, how much can this person deal with? I want to leave a stamp on the earth where people say, oh, remember Critical Powers, remember Liam, you know, he made this music, and, you know, and I want Jake to be proud of his dad. I don't want to be the guy that my dad was.
Liberation was basically a culmination of my whole life up to that point.
Yeah.
That was the first proper project that I put out, and it's hard for me to listen to now.
Yeah.
Because it takes me back to a space I don't want to live in every day.
Right.
You know, so I'm happy to talk to you about this now because
Yeah.
I'm in a place where I can do that.
Yeah.
But actually listening to it myself, it's like, you know, I get people trolling me talking about, you know, he's going to end up like his dad and
Man.
he needs to look after his kids, and it's like, mate, I've already dealt with that.
Yeah.
You think I don't know that?
Yeah,
Do you know what I
man.
mean? I don't like to give light to those kinds of people. And I know exactly who them people
Is
are
this
as well,
comments
by the
on
way.
social media?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff?
I know
Man.
exactly who these people are because technology is a beautiful thing, man. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, it's
Why
like...
can't people just scroll on? Do you know what I mean? Why do they have to?
Do you know what? I have to have empathy towards them, whoever's doing that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to put it out here, but they obviously have problems going on in their own lives.
I see what you mean. They've got their own
They
stuff.
like, for me, yeah, as a man, I can't focus on what another man's doing.
Yeah.
Unless it's to help them.
Yeah.
Unless I'm trying to support somebody. That's totally different.
Yeah.
But when it's designed to cause damage to somebody, I ain't got time for that.
No,
You
you're
know,
too busy doing what you need to
like,
do.
it's like, you know, so like it's funny and it's sad.
Yeah.
Because I have to have empathy towards them, and I hope they find a better way.
Yeah, over 10 years, that's a long stretch. Mats up on my flesh, rib skin like I'm on reps. Boss level, I'm the last man standing off. Switch up like a hammer on, savage now like Aragon. And I'm a paladin, this a paradigm shift, but I'm managing. Peak, now it's embarrassing. All I see is red, bring the cameras in. I waited my whole life, hype you can't approach mine. Devotion is the cold type. I'm the type to bring the whole vibe. You're the guy that sit online, you the troll type. Who are you to criticize? Criticizing critical, it's best you go for dinner time. You a small fry, vampiric in my size with a killer bite. Wait, don't tell me to wait any longer, I cannot wait. I'm about to just break.
And you're kind of trying to putting yourself out there. Nowadays you have to put yourself out there
Yeah.
on social media. But equally in doing that and being so honest and vulnerable, it's giving ammunition to people like that
Course
to
it
use
is.
against you, and it's cruel, isn't it?
It's a necessary evil, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Social media, definitely.
Yeah.
Because I hate it's like money. I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate talking about it. I hate having to have it.
Yeah.
I hate the whole concept of it. It's
Yeah.
garbage to me. It's just a man-made, created thing.
Yeah. It's
that we're
designed.
told we have to have.
Well, and once you opt out, you put yourself at a disadvantage. So
Exactly.
it's like, what am I going to do? Am I going to just delete it all? And then, especially as a musician, like, how are you going to,
It's impossible to do that because it's the same as what you do. Like, we've got things to promote.
Yeah.
And I think it's about a shift in how you actually utilize it.
Yeah.
So for me, it's not about putting all of my personal life out there.
No.
Like I've done that in my music. So
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
to be prepared and accept the fact that people may take shots at me
Yeah.
because I've put myself out there.
Yeah.
And I signed up for that.
Okay.
But it's about being careful about what you put out there.
Yeah.
I don't need to put everything about my family and my life out there anymore. I don't feel like I need to do that. So
No.
like it's really to benefit other people, to help myself, and just experience the
Yeah.
creativity of it all. Like
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff on there, but I do think you've really got to be careful about the algorithm, because it's easy to go down rabbit holes, and it's easy. You wonder what the feed is like of those trolls, don't you? Like,
Oh,
if you're
man.
saying that stuff and you're going on stuff just to say mean, hurtful things,
yeah.
the chances are you're going to be fed more and more negative stuff. It's a rabbit hole, isn't it? So, I mean, I took the start of the pandemic. I came off because I was like, I'm never going to have another opportunity like this where no one has any expectations of me. And when I went back to it, it was like, you have a better relationship with it. Sometimes it's nice to just step right back
Yeah.
and take time away to reevaluate what your relationship is with it and why you're using it.
Yeah.
So you now use it largely because I mean I've seen your feeds of, if they're not music, then they're like, have a blessed day, like, you know, keep going. It's positive messages constantly.
Because I don't want to contribute to that
Yeah.
BS.
You're offsetting all the trolls by putting out as much positivity as you can.
And don't get me wrong, it's not like loads and loads of people doing it. Do you
No.
know what I mean? It's like a lot of the stuff I get is 95% of what I get on social media is all positive.
That's good.
You know, but it's like I said at the beginning about, you know, my whole childhood wasn't bad.
Yeah.
We're going to highlight the negative things, unfortunately, because as a human being, I think they have more of an impact and they hurt us. So, like, for me, it's like, it's got to be there.
Yeah.
But I don't like it there.
Yeah.
But I have to sort of play by the rules almost, you know?
Absolutely, yeah. And so, yeah, I can't remember when Liberation came out. I can't remember if you had social media then. You certainly, I think Spotify was a thing. Was it?
Yeah.
Did it come out on Spotify? Did it?
Yeah. So initially, it was officially released just as hard copies.
Right.
So I think there was 500 pressed as CDs with like all the artwork and everything.
And that was your first proper CD.
First proper
released,
CD.
Yeah.
Because I wanted something I could physically hold in my hand.
Yeah.
And it was such an important project that I was like, you know, I'm just going to invest in this. And,
that's awesome.
So that's what I did. And then I think it was like a couple of years later, I put it out on like Spotify and all the rest of it.
So it's like 2015-ish then. So how old were you then? Sorry. 7 years ago, is it?
Yeah, so like 26,
Wow.
25, something like that.
That's an achievement, man. To have an album like that's kind of feels like.
And it charted at number 63 in the iTunes charts as well.
Actually, no way.
It did when I dropped it. Yeah.
That's amazing. So how did you do that without being on social media all the time and having
literally just the people supporting it?
Yeah.
You know, like if every single person who knew me bought every single thing that I dropped, I'd never have to work a day in my life again.
Honestly.
So
you don't actually need millions of people.
No. They say you need 1,000. 1,000 true fans.
Wow.
Because if you've got 1,000 true fans, you can then, everything you drop, every show you do, any T-shirt you put out, you can earn a really nice living from that and never have to work ever again.
And that's not silly numbers, is it?
It's not silly numbers. No, I think I know more than 1,000 people. But the problem is that you've got, it's a niche thing.
Yeah.
So the genre is like, right, so I know loads of people, but then you've got to take out the people who are just not interested in that music.
Yeah.
Then you've got to take out the people who find it difficult to listen to. Then so you're narrowing it down all the time, and it's like you're probably left with a really small percentage of. Well,
it does feel like your genres, you've got something for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, like at the moment, especially, like it seems like, you know, there's obviously hip hop and rap and sort of modern sounding drill types of that stuff, but then you've got there's drum and bass and there's acoustic covers and, you know, there's something for. Is that just what mood you're in or what you're interested in at the time, or are you trying to find a new sound, or what is that?
It's a bit of a double-edged sword, to be honest, because like people almost don't know what they're going to get, and I think as an artist that's not great,
right?
Because you have to know what to expect, really.
Yeah.
But for me, just as a creative person, I don't like being put into one box, really.
Okay, yeah.
So my whole approach to it is like, what am I physically capable of? What can I actually do?
Right.
And it's also unlocking new audiences.
Yeah.
So I do it to test it. I don't care if it doesn't do well.
No.
But I can say I did it. There's a song on Liberation called Breathe.
Yeah.
And that's a really sad, dark song.
Yeah.
But it's over a beat that's like a pop trance type beat.
Electro, yes.
And the whole reason that I did that was because I was trying to prove a point that actually you can write about something honest and real, but put it over a beat that at that time could have been on radio.
Yeah, breathe for me, we can breathe one time. Not five, a figure around in my life. How should I know how to be a dad when mine was only around for a short time? I put pen down no matter what the beat is. I hope from the heaven you'll see this. Know what my dream is, I'm here for a reason. I'm out here screaming for somebody to help me. I feel I helped you more than you did for me. Body shut down like muscular dystrophy. It's no mystery, it's the bottle that took you away from me. It's been changing me. I miss you so much I feel empty. I'll see you one day when it's the end of me. I did didn't think I would forgive you. I said maybe one day eventually, but as time has passed, the weight's got too heavy on my back. When I look back to the times in the past, I'm sorry for the letters that I didn't write back. I'm hurting, had to word it. I think about it when I'm writing my verses. I just wish that we spent more time. Dad, please, one more time. Breathe.
You know, so for me, it's just about testing things and experimenting. And, you know, I've never really listened to that much drum and bass, and I thought it'd be nice to see what it would come out like. So I did it and I put it out. And
it works.
Yeah, and it works.
I think that's the other thing. As long as it all feels like you still, it's not like you it's a different artist.
Yeah.
But it is really interesting to kind of go through the playlist and be like, oh, that's not what I was expecting, you know, and that's cool. Is that a recent thing then, or have you always kind of tried to? Because you produce quite a bit of your own stuff, don't you?
Yeah, I make beats as well. I'm a producer, audio engineer, mix and masterer.
Yeah, write the theme
artwork,
tune,
distribution. I do it all, man. Yeah, I mean, I just love music.
Yeah,
like I said, the genre is totally irrelevant to me.
Yeah,
it's about the message, really.
Yeah,
and then there's some tracks like more recently. Doesn't necessarily have to be about anything deep.
Yeah,
I'm just having fun with it.
Yeah, no cap. One of my favourites. I think to run to as well.
Yeah,
it sets me off on a run real nice.
Yeah,
it's a good tempo. It's got good energy.
Yeah,
but it feels like, you know, it feels more. I would say more cheerful. There's still some anger in there. There's still some rage in there.
Yeah,
but it's you know, you don't. It's not like all your songs are bare in your soul.
No, that's right. It's that to me, like No Cap and Dexter's Lab and All Hands on Deck, like that's keeping my skills sharp.
I was going to say, it sounds like you're playing with it a bit.
Yeah, it's just about having fun, them ones. And I think, you know, All Hands on Deck is going to do crazy. I
that's coming out imminently then.
Yeah, it'll be out by the time this is out, I believe.
Sweet.
So make sure you go stream that, Spotify.
Yeah, man, it's wicked, mate. It's really, really good, and it's really nice. Like I say, it's nice to kind of been on that journey a little bit. You know, to kind of listen to Liberation at sort of the time that it was coming out and be like, oh man, because I presume you were still in it at that point. This is 7 years ago.
Seriously,
it's not that long ago.
No, it's not. But like, that was so hard to put out. And do you know the song Envy?
Yeah,
that's like the one with the most plays on Spotify, right? I've never said this actually, right? But that song it never came out because the music that I used, I didn't produce that beat.
Right.
So I was sat on that song for quite a while. And when it came to like, because you have to purchase a license basically.
To use somebody else's
music. So when I went to buy that license, the beat had sold.
So you couldn't buy it?
It'd been exclusively sold.
Oh, no.
So I was like, I can't believe this. Like, I just shot a music video in Greece for it as well. And, like, this was a big learning lesson, man. You know? So, like, we'd shot the video. It was ready to come out. And I was like, I can't put the song out. So I got in touch with the producer and I said, look, man, like, I need this beat.
Yeah.
Like, I need it now. And he's from another country. I don't know him personally.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I was just like, I'm just going to try and reach out. And he reached out to me, and he actually ended up sorting it out for me. So.
Just working it out so that you could also license it as well as this exclusive license elsewhere.
Yeah, a bit sketch that, like, but still.
Yeah, it's on there. Well, that would have. Had you already sent the album to print as well to produce?
Yeah, man, it'd all been done.
Oh no.
And I was wrapping up the loose ends, you know. So I was just like, right, I've got the track listing, I've got the order, I've got everything done.
God.
I had like shows booked for it. I had the hard copies on the way, and I like.
And it must have been so much. You've put so much of you into it. It must have been an exhausting process to actually, just do it. And then also, then you've got people asking you about it and talking about it. It's like everybody gets a full on look at what you're going through.
Yeah.
You know, how was that? Did you know it would connect with people like it did? And do you get people coming up to you going, me too? And how much of that does that take out of you?
Yeah, it's happened a lot. People message me all the time saying, you know, I've been through this and this song helped. Or, you know, I've met hundreds of people at like conferences, and, you know, we did like public speaking at like social work universities, and all this stuff, and I sold a lot of copies there as well, and they were just all like, "It's amazing what you're doing," like, you know. And
so you going into places where you weren't expecting it to connect. Audiences that weren't there necessarily for a music show; they were there for discussions.
Absolutely, yeah, because they're working with vulnerable young people, just like I do.
Of course, yeah.
So, like, for them, it's interesting to get that perspective because maybe some of them haven't been through anything like that. They're driven by different reasons. So, like, for them, it was interesting to get my perspective on actually these are the things you could be looking out for. If a young person's struggling, they may present with this type of issue or behavior. You know, so like for them it's gold dust, really.
Of
like,
course, yeah.
You know, it's about understanding what them signs are. And like I say, coming from a time when it was like you didn't talk openly about your feelings and what was going on and all the rest of it. That's no criticism to my mum.
No,
that's just the time we were living in.
Of course.
It was all very hush hush, you know.
Yeah, stiff upper lip. It's natural, isn't it?
Yeah.
But so how did that happen to you then? If it wasn't, you know, because we get some people come on and say, I just didn't know how to talk about it, and then they suppress it, and then that shows up later in life. And you get some people who say, well, actually, I was always kind of given that space to be able to do that, and then there's the healthy relationship with the traumatic experiences because they've processed them. But you didn't have that permission, and yet still you managed to figure out a way to do it.
Yeah.
Just the right music, the right time.
It was hard.
Yeah.
I remember being a kid and starting to question things. So, like, is that normal? You know, why is that happening? But always knowing that you couldn't talk about it. So, as I got older, I started to think for myself and started to question things. And then using the music, it was almost like I had to go against everything I'd ever been taught, really.
Yeah.
I felt like I was going against be quiet.
Yeah.
Because when my dad died, nobody wanted to talk about it in the family because it was so traumatic. And at the time, I felt like I needed them to talk about it.
Yeah.
But as I got older, I realised that I was expecting people to come to my way of dealing with it. And that's unfair. I can't expect them to do that because they're not in that same place. And it's a bit controversial because it's like your family.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't that nobody was there for me.
No.
It was that we all deal with things in different ways. And actually, that's not a criticism to them. That's just the way that they managed it.
They didn't know how to show up.
No, they didn't know how to communicate it because they weren't in that space to do it.
Yeah.
Whereas I've always been like, I need to talk about this.
Yeah.
So I just sort of took it upon myself to do it through music, and that was it.
That's at such a young age, though. That's mad. I think I'm only just about at 37 years old able to look at what I'm actually going through, what I've been through, and say it out loud. Before it's coping mechanisms, it's, you know, I'd probably drink a little bit too much if I'm going out because I know that that'll mean that I can be the person everyone expects me to be.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Now, I recognise that my relationship with alcohol needs constant focus because that is not a good reason to have a drink. Do you know what I mean? But it can take a lifetime to get to that.
I'm glad you brought that up, man, because I went through a period of time where I was drinking way too much.
Yeah.
Gigging all the time. It's just there, readily available. And I think the problem is, we know this now, but like, masking a problem doesn't remove it.
No.
So it's like, you know, the demons don't go away just because you close your eyes.
Yeah.
You know, they're still there. And actually, it's like an illusion.
Yeah.
It's a false sense of reality. It's garbage. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's just your mind. The mind's a powerful thing, man. And your mind is saying to you, do this, it's going to make it better.
Let's just keep things as normal as they can be, because actually looking at what's really going on is so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And it, I guess as well, if you're out there gigging, you're out there on a night, you're out there trying to go on stage, trying to have, you know, a good time with the people that are around you, whilst also dealing with this stuff.
Exactly.
Of course, a drink's going to be the right thing to do.
Just went hand in hand.
Yeah.
Man. It takes a very, very high level of psychological and mental fortitude, I would say.
Yeah.
To be able to say no to your own mind that's telling you to do things that you know is not right.
Yeah.
That's a powerful thing, man.
It's awareness, isn't it?
It is.
But it's so easy to go through life without any awareness because it's
absolutely
usually more comfortable.
What changed my life was actually training in therapeutic counselling.
Right.
That changed my life because not only did I see what my problems were, but I also was able to identify people around me as well that weren't necessarily good for me.
Yeah.
So like that's not like, that's like I'm talking about like previous relationships and things of that nature. That's like, it's quite a daunting thing because it's almost like a film's lifted off your eyes and you start to see, it's like the Matrix almost. It's like, wow, I didn't realize this is what was going on, and that can affect you in a whole different way.
Suddenly realizing what's going on. Yeah.
Because it's like everything you thought reality was, it's not like that.
Yeah.
So you question everything that's happened and you're like, well, so I've just spent 10 years of my life thinking that people and things are this certain way, and it's not.
Yeah.
And that messes you up. That's like waking up tomorrow on a different planet and you being told that this world was not what you thought it was. It just doesn't make sense. It's like a psychological mind game.
That's trauma in itself.
Yeah.
And then I suppose as well it means, well, I'm going to have to make some big changes, which equally is uncomfortable. Nobody wants to change things. Nobody wants to push people away that you thought were important to you.
Exactly.
Or give up alcohol if it's a crutch to you and stuff like that.
And also, so there's that side of it with people around you.
Yeah.
But then, like you say, it's also looking at yourself
and
being like, realistically, I have to look at myself in the mirror and go, it's almost like I made like a mental list of every single person that I'd spoken badly to, or everybody that I felt I'd done wrong in some form or fashion, and reach out to all of those people and try to repair all that damage, no matter how insignificant it may have been.
That's like one of the 12 steps. To recovery from addiction. Is that kind of make a list of who you might have wronged,
right?
And make an effort to put it right.
Right.
Not just for your, not for your own benefit, but because it's the right thing to do.
Absolutely. I'm a guy like based on morals, right?
Yeah.
And I think if it's morally right, just do it.
Yeah.
So that's what I spent a lot of time doing. And then when you do that, it's almost like an olive branch,
Yeah.
And they can choose to accept that or not.
Yeah.
That's totally up to that other person to receive or not. And I think I can't be offended if that's not received.
Yeah.
But I can sleep on a night knowing that I did the right thing and tried to do what was morally right. And that's how I try and live my life.
How long did that process take then? Was that something that's taken years to do? Or was that something that you went, no, I need to do this now in order to move on to the next part of my life?
It's been ongoing.
Yeah.
For like maybe 8 years.
Right.
It's sort of, because obviously it's not like you have this realization and it's like, I'm going to make everything better. It's like, we've got are quite realistic, and I think sometimes it might come across a bit. I'm very aware of how I come across. I'm trying to be very, very aware of what I say.
Yeah.
And I'm careful with what I say.
Yeah.
Because I've kind of made that mistake in the past with some music.
Yeah.
Like I've probably been too honest.
Right.
There are moments where I think I probably have been too honest.
Do you think
about myself.
There is such a thing then as too honest?
I think.
Or you've shared too much, you mean? Or...
From my perspective, yeah. Maybe not for some people, but for me, I think I could have got the points across in certain situations without going into that much detail.
I suppose most people are having conversations and maybe they say it wrong, but that conversation's in the past. Whereas if you're saying it on a tune, it's there forever.
Yeah.
Like recently, I'm like, oh, you've got a Bandcamp and there's loads of stuff on there that I haven't heard, and you're like, yeah, well, this is a long time ago, and I don't really listen to it anymore. Whereas I'm like, this feels brand new to me. So I suppose you have to interact with some of the stuff you've said forever, even if you might not agree with it anymore, which is quite strange.
It is a strange thing because I can't be apologetic for it.
Yeah, it was right at the time.
It was right at the time, and it served a purpose at the time.
Yeah,
but yeah, man, just got to keep going. I suppose.
Well, on that, you did. I hope you don't mind me saying again, quoting some of your older lyrics back to you, but you talk in one of your songs about not wanting to be alive. And I can't, I cannot imagine how tough that must be to go through and then admit to others. It's hugely stigmatized, is the idea of suicide. But in the same breath, in the same song, you're telling other people to hold on and keep going, and it's a message of hope at the same time as having no hope yourself, which is again, it's incredible to hear. But I just wonder how much that weighs and how you reconcile that, and whether you're in a better place now.
Yeah, it's tough, man. There's no doubt about it. You know, I've definitely felt like that.
Yeah.
I attempted suicide twice, so I don't take it lightly
Yeah.
at all. You know, and I think that you can't rely on, you know, when people say like they hope, I don't think hope is enough,
Yeah.
because it's not. It's like motivation. It's not consistent enough
Yeah.
for me to live my life by hope
Yeah.
or motivation. It's discipline. It's
Okay.
actually having the tools in place to be able to manage certain situations, and I just didn't have them.
Yeah.
I was never taught them. I never accessed support to the level where I was given the information. I didn't know who to turn to. I felt like everybody was against me. I had no money. I couldn't even hardly get out of bed on a morning, you know. And then you're putting out music in a time like that, and you've got things from the past you haven't dealt with, and the anger and frustration as a male, not having a male role model to grow up with and ask for advice, how to repair a puncture on your push bike.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? Like things like that, like it's really hard because you have to sort of teach yourself these things. There was no one really to get advice from other than my brother, but my brother moved out of the area. So it wasn't like you know, it's tough, that, man.
You felt like you were on your own.
Yeah, especially when I left home.
Yeah.
Because I left home as soon as I could. But and there was no other reason for that other than pursuing music.
Right.
Because my mum and my stepdad they've always been fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, they've always supported me. I've never not felt like they never supported me or never loved me or anything like that. It was just like, as a man, there's that bond that you have with your father.
Yeah.
Like your mum, you get that unconditional love side of it. Yeah?
Absolutely.
That everybody feels and is just always there by nature, like should be there.
Yeah.
It's just built into us. But actually, the father's role is a totally different role.
Yeah.
I don't think that either one can do the opposite.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think
I
they
do,
both do parts of
similar
similar things. But there's something about that connection between a lad and his dad that is really important. And if that's taken away or not functioning effectively, I believe that it damages your growth, your mental development. So I didn't have the tools to cope with those moments.
Yeah.
So that's why I chose drinking, and I chose all the things that I did, and
Coping strategies for you.
yeah, because I had nothing else. All I had was music. All I've ever known is music. So when people say I'm a rapper, it's like, and they sort of say it in like a, you know, like a funny tone and like making a mockery of it. Actually, it's not just about rap. This is like embedded in me. This is like who I am.
Critical powers, Aspires movement. Hey, L's up. Listen. Yo, sitting inside, living a life you're not living in mine. Take a walk in my shoes, see what it's like, but you can't fit in my size. I'm not leaving them guessing, they say that my sound is depressing. I'm respected, but I'm manic depressive. So what the fuck you expecting? Strike hard and bind like electric storms. Affected me when I stepped in the car. I was next to the door, I was fighting a legal war. I ain't never seen it before, I don't wanna go too deep. Too many nights I lose sleep. Too many nights I lose sleep. Look at my life. Cause all I see is trauma, I don't wanna talk about it when I call you. I said, look at my life. All I see is pain every other day.
That's why I'm excited for people to hear your music, because, you know, I think it will connect with our listeners because it's you and it's real and it's honest. And there is rap out there that is just showy and fake for the sake of it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I don't like some of that. You know, if it's
no.
lyrically adept, it's got its place.
Me too. Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong.
absolutely.
Like, there's a moment for that. But actually, it's like
That's not what you're
No.
offering at all. You're
No.
offering a glimpse into your life and the way you've processed some of the stuff you've been through. in a bid to process it yourself, but also for other people to connect to it. Like,
Yeah.
So you lost your dad at a time. You were not only were you dealing with the lack of that male role model, but also you were presumably still angry about it, and you relive these traumas every day. You know, I can't imagine what a bereavement like that does. And you were there. You know, you talk about it in your songs how angry you are at it. You know,
There's no pain like that.
no,
I'll tell you the story, right? I'll make it as brief as I can. But I was in Wolverhampton. My dad was in hospital. I'm 15 years old,
Yeah.
right? He's at York Hospital. I'd come back to York to visit over school holidays and stuff. I was here for 2 weeks.
yeah,
And I used to get the National Express coach because it was cheaper, right? So I'd literally got to York Station. I was coming back home. I got on the National Express coach, sat outside York Station, and there was an old woman at the front of the bus, and she'd collapsed. So the coach was delayed by an hour, right? Anyway, all this rigmarole was going on. I got a phone call as the wheels started to turn on the coach, and it was my mum, and she said, "Liam, there's nothing more they can do for your dad, so you can get off the coach if you want," because I was due to be back at school.
Yeah.
She said, "You can get off the coach, go to the hospital." I was like, right. So I put the phone down. I ran to the front of the coach. I said, "I need to get off the coach." And the driver said, "You've had an hour to decide whether you wanted to get off the coach or not." I said, "I need to get off the coach right now." So he pulled up down Blossom Street outside KFC. He was all stressed out and that, you know what I mean? I got this massive hurl door with all my stuff in for 2 weeks worth of clothes. I literally ran to York Hospital, right, from Blossom Street. And I got to the hospital, and there's like a few family members there and stuff. And he was on life support at this point, and they basically said he won't last any longer than an hour after taking these machines off, but there's nothing more we can do.
Yeah.
It's the machines keeping him alive. So I'm like, it can't be real, this.
No.
Like, this cannot be actually happening to me right now. So anyway, they took all the machines off one by one, and they just left his heart monitor, right? And it's like a film, man. This is the God's honest truth. Like, the beep was going down and down and down and getting slower and slower and slower over the duration of 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And until it got to 0, and it just totally, like a beep, like just a constant beep. So seeing that as a 15-year-old, that people don't know pain until they've gone through that, man.
No.
You can't get that image out of your head.
No.
You know.
Father, forgive me. Forgive me for my sins. Father, forgive me. Heal these broken, tired wings. Will you be the light that guides me home when I'm all alone? Will you be the beacon, the hope that I am seeking? Tired bones and weary soul, trying to find a place called home. Like a lost ship at sea, in the hands of your mercy. In the warmth of day or in the cold of night, gazing under starlight, dreaming of the things that I should have did, could have been, but I never did. Forever dwelling in the past, forever nothing everlasting. Sanity was going mad and I can't go back. I can't go back, I can't go back. I can never go back, never go back. Moving forward, a pocket full of broken dreams, stretching out these broken, tired wings. Got my sights set on the finer things that are free and that never mattered to me. Now I see what's important to me: love, life, and a family. Now I see the importance of me, empowered as you walk with me. As a shadow by my side, I have nowhere to hide. Hand in hand as we walk free. Everything you taught me, everything you warned me, everything you've shown me. Father, forgive me.
So like me going back to school after that, and people were taking a piss talking about, oh, Liam's had more time off school and da 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 da. Do you know what I mean? It's just like,
You don't know what the hell you're talking about.
exactly. So like, that's how serious it is.
Fuck.
I'll never get rid of that out of my head.
No.
And it's important to say that because I think people can just look at it and go, oh, you know, we all lose people. Actually, at that moment in time as a 15-year-old,
Yeah.
your body's changing. You're going through all these different types of changes. It's a weird time in life anyway.
You're trying to figure out who you are.
Yeah,
Never mind
because you're
how
starting to think, well, what am I going to do with my life? You know, you're going into your last year of school and all of a sudden you've lost one of the most significant people in your life. Like I say, that comes from his own pain, how he's in that situation. He needed help.
Yeah.
So, and it wasn't there for him. And it's as simple as that. So that's like, that's the reality of what I was dealing with.
I'm so sorry, man. No one should have to go through that.
I know.
No one should have to go through that.
It's hard, man. It's hard to go back there. So, like, you know, just like, be kind to people, man. You know, there's such a lack of empathy with human beings. I think it's a joke, you know. And it's not like I want the sympathy.
No.
I'm saying this because I'm not the only person that's been through that. There will be other people.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, and the more that I talk about it in a position of like where I'm at, you know, I have a relatively small audience. If people in higher places were doing this, that's when the real change is going to start to happen. We're getting there. We're getting closer.
The conversation is starting to open up a little
It
bit.
is.
But you're right. People who can find the words and people who are maybe in a place where they can look at it. Because at the time, I can't imagine how, like I was just saying to you, I'm only just about starting to get to grips with my own emotions in my mid-30s. You're a teenager. Like the idea that you would be able to figure out what to do next or what happens next, never mind keep releasing music or go back to school or but you did, and it seems like you are utilizing your experiences now to help other people, both through your music, both through your work, the way that you operate on social media. Like, it does seem like kindness and honesty and vulnerability.
Yeah, because what matters to me is that I feel like if there was someone like me back then that I could talk to, I maybe wouldn't have struggled as much.
Yeah.
So particularly with the young people that I work with, I always make a point of saying, I believe in you.
Yeah.
I know you can do it. And if I didn't believe in you, I won't be sat with you right now because I won't waste your time. I won't waste my time. But I believe in you. I know you can do this.
Yeah.
Somebody to say that to me back then, that would have potentially changed my life.
I put my life on the line. Now it's time to make the dream work. I made it out alive, so I preach words. In the verses, I'm just searching for the answers. The right way, right path, never sidetracked. You can face your demons and you might panic. Life's tragic, accept it before your life vanish. I'm blessed, I'm showing gratitude. Life is a bitch and it will take a stab at you. It will laugh at you when you're on your knees, and it will make you believe that you're weak, but you're not. You just need to believe in yourself. You can rise from the ashes like a phoenix. Follow what your dream is. I'm doing it, I know it's right. All these people I inspire to be alive. I could never take that for granted. That's a blessing that will never be abandoned. My life's like a movie.
Can you tell us a bit about your work then? You're youth mentor, is that right?
Yes, I'm a youth mentor at North Yorkshire Youth, and I work one-to-one with young people, primarily who are becoming known to the police, so low-level crime, antisocial behaviour stuff. But within that, there's a lot of other challenges, particularly mental health, anxiety, bereavement, lots of different things, and it's up to me to try to prevent them to stop going down that downward spiral, really.
So the ASB is the sort of symptoms, but actually what you're saying is it's not antisocial behaviour, it's
100%.
dealing with all this other stuff that they've got going on usually.
100%, yeah. On top of that, you've got things like, ADHD and, the young people struggling with things like that. They don't necessarily. I always felt like this. I never seemed to fit into the school box.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like you sit at your desk and you look at the screen and you write the words down. And I couldn't learn like that.
Yeah.
As soon as you put me on a computer in front of a door, and I'm learning audio and I'm clicking mics in and
Yeah.
making beats,
All makes sense then.
all of a sudden I'm like, oh yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I can read it in a book all day long.
Yeah.
Don't make any sense to me.
Right.
So when I was doing my counselling training, that was like a real test for me,
Yeah.
because I don't learn that way.
But you had to force yourself
I
to,
forced
because you
myself.
believed that was important.
Yeah.
Was this part of the youth mentoring then? The
No,
counselling?
this was before that.
Right.
So I took like a couple of years out just to train,
Yeah.
because I wanted to also prove to myself that I could learn at a higher level.
Yeah.
Like in terms of like education wise.
From a book, even though it
Yes.
was uncomfortable.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like I could write a book, man. But
Yeah. Well, I think you've
reading
got
them is
enough.
tough.
Yeah. So tell me what therapeutic counselling is then. What does it mean to you? What do you? How does it help with the clients?
So I trained in I never actually passed to become a counsellor.
I see.
But I learnt to it was almost like an A level.
I see. Yeah, to help with the
Standard.
work that you were
Yeah.
inevitably going to do.
Yeah, definitely. So it was primarily person centered.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I use that method so much. I
Yeah.
think CBT, psychodynamic, all these different theories work in certain places.
Yeah.
But I don't actually like that CBT tends to be the main form of funded therapy, because I don't think it's a one size fits all approach.
No. Well, it doesn't. There's a percentage of people that it works for, but it won't work for
Absolutely.
everyone, will it?
No.
And I had some for my anxiety, and it's very straightforward, and
Yeah.
it's and some of it really kind of helped reframe, but it's not the answer. It's
No.
it's a way to sort of change the behaviour a little bit and hope that starts the ball rolling.
Yes.
But it doesn't help you understand yourself anymore, or what's gone on anymore.
No,
does it?
it's to try to break a sort of cycle
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah.
Whereas because in CBT it's generally quite short as well. You
Yeah.
maybe get 8 to 12 sessions, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, 8 to 12 sessions with a young person, I mean, some of them, you're only just getting 3 words out of them.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think you can truly get to understand a person in 8 to 10 weeks.
No.
It doesn't happen. So that's why I really like person-centered, because it takes longer,
Yeah.
but you can make fundamental changes.
And it's what they need rather than
Yes.
what
Yeah.
what you're supposed to do, and this is how many sessions, and this is what we'll
Exactly.
discuss. And
But the government back CBT because it's been empirically tested to work.
yeah, well, I was talking to a guy. I met a guy called Paul Galdes. He's a professor, I think. I should get that right. I think he's a professor at York Uni, who's working on something called BALM, BALM, behavioural activation. Oh, I'm going to get this wrong too. I'll put it in the. I'll put it properly in the description. But really fascinating guy who's the funding has come from Movember,
Right.
the charity, and they're funding this. It's an alternative to CBT, but rather than sort of reframing thought and cognition and speech, it's taking action. It's behavioural. It's setting goals to go and actually do something rather than talk or think about it.
Yes.
And there's a lot of research going on about that now. So I think that the conversation is changing around, because yeah, you're right. If you're talking about anxiety, depression, low mood, CBT, it's medication or CBT, isn't it?
Yeah.
Largely.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that there is more on the horizon, I think.
Absolutely, man. The more research that can be done, the better for
Yeah.
me. Seriously, because I think the more methods we have,
Yeah.
the better, because it's not black and white.
No.
Actually, I was told that anybody can change
Yeah.
as long as 2 conditions are in place, and one of them is that excuse me, one of them conditions is that the right support is in place, and the second condition is that they truly want to change.
Yeah.
So if those 2 conditions are met, anybody can become well.
Yeah.
They can change. If it's negative behaviour, they can change that. I do think morally there's probably limits to that, if
Yeah.
I'm being honest.
Yeah.
But generally speaking,
Yeah.
I think that anybody can become well and better, unless it's on a deeper rooted, like a development problem within the brain or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm talking like generally.
Yeah.
For stuff like addiction.
Yeah.
Anxiety, depression, stress, all these kinds of things. I think they can be addressed in a better way as opposed to medication, particularly.
Yeah, it plays a part, doesn't it? It deals with a portion of what's going on.
Yeah.
But again, as with the CBT, it doesn't actually address the root cause. If there is one, like you say, there's going to be mental health challenges that maybe don't have a root cause based in situations in a person's life.
Yeah.
But if they do, then surely dealing with those situations in some form or other. I mean, it's worth saying, I'm not trained in any of this, so this is just my own experience, as I know it is yours.
Yeah.
But it feels like actually having somebody there to support and facilitate a safe space for you to actually look at what your behaviours are, look at the situation that happened, and actually process it.
Yeah.
Has got to be a positive way to try and get through it.
Definitely.
Uncomfortable, yes. But
anything worth having is hard to attain.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah.
So I think you have to first of all be self-aware.
Yeah.
Stop lying to yourself and kidding yourself that
Yeah.
actually this is the reality of it. And I think the problem starts when you're not able to do that.
Yeah.
So you need someone else to come in to actually help you identify that.
And that's why you did the therapeutic counselling, so that when you're working with these youths, you can sort of see some of that.
Yeah, definitely. Because like certain situations I can see a mile off.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert in
No,
anything,
no.
to be honest. But like, it's almost like an innate
Yeah.
sense. You start to think, I've seen this before.
Yeah.
What can I do to try to prevent this from happening?
Yeah.
So I try my best. There's limits to what I can do.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
What a privileged position, though. What amazing work. Like, for you, having been through what some of these kids are going through, you know what they feel like. You're not telling them, you're experiencing it with them. You know, they can look up to you as someone who's actually kind of got better.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a bold thing for me to say. Would you say you're better? Like, if you know, out of 10, how are you now? Like, where are you at?
I'm like in a way better place, man. Before I was like a minus.
Yeah.
You know, even liberation times.
Yeah.
Like a -4 or something like that.
Yeah, man.
Now I'd say I'm like an 8.
Yeah, man, that's good.
You know, there's times I wobble.
Yeah.
The thing that I suffer with the most, which is ongoing now, is it's more stress.
Right.
So it's not depression.
Yeah.
I do have anxiety as well.
Yeah.
But what I found with anxiety with me is like, so say I'm meeting a young person for the first time, right?
Yeah.
There's been negative situations that have happened in the past, not just in this role. You know, we're people, we're human beings.
Yeah, of course.
You may not get on with someone and it
Yeah.
doesn't go very well. So like, what I've started to do is like, if I pull up to a school and I'm meeting a young person for the first time in school, if I pull up to that school and get into the car park and sit there, I'm giving my mind time to think about it.
Yeah.
Then I start stressing out.
Yeah.
So what I do is I pull up, I park in the car parking space, I get out of the car, I walk straight to the reception desk.
Yeah.
By that point, I'm signing in. They're giving me a lanyard.
You're in
Then
it.
they're like, "Oh, Liam, you're in room such and such," and I've not given my mind the chance to go there.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that's how I have to deal with it. I have to almost act immediately.
Yeah.
And not think about it.
I know exactly that feeling. Because for me, again, I feel lucky enough that my anxiety was situational. I think largely around the idea of becoming a parent, the stresses of reaching my mid-30s and thinking, am I just pretending to be this person? Am I what everybody else thinks I should be? Who's the guy who's going to make the decisions here in this family? So that sounds misogynistic. I don't mean the boss. I mean,
no, I know what you mean.
If I'm doing everything on somebody else's terms because I think I'm supposed to, I don't have any my own agency, and I can't fucking parent like that.
Yeah.
And I think that suddenly sent me internally into my head. And once you're up in there, instead of present in the situation, you don't operate as you're supposed to. I was struggling with conversations with people that I've known for years. I was struggling to sort of like go to things and not just be sat up in my head thinking, I don't know what to say here. And that, once that happens, you're not engaging in in real life anymore.
No.
And that, like, I guess for you, you've got to be present with those kids. You've got to be there in the room rather than up in your own head.
Yeah, and that's a really powerful thing you've just said there, man, and it's very, very true. I was taught, this changed my life, right? When I was training, I said to my counselling trainer, like my tutor, I said, because in counselling and in what I do and what you're doing as well, like you hear so many stories and it's very hard not to take that on yourself because of the type of people we are, right? When you've got empathy towards people, it's hard not to take things on. So I said, how do I not take everybody else's problems on so that it affects me?
Yeah.
And she said, this blew me away, right? She said, Liam, it's not yours to take.
Yeah.
I was like, she said, you should be grateful that they've let you into that, their life.
Yeah.
You should be grateful and thank them for that. But actually, as soon as they leave that door, you hand it back over to them.
Yeah.
It's theirs again. And that's the right thing to do, because we can only hold so much.
Yeah.
So like when I leave here today,
Yeah.
that's the same as what you need to do, because it's like I've let you in to share my experience, but it's mine.
Yeah.
And I can't, it's not, this is why, like, it's like, I don't want to burden people. You know, when people say that, I don't want to burden people. It's like, that's a mindset that needs to change on the person receiving that information.
Yeah.
Actually, like, you don't need to feel like that.
No,
because
and societally as well. You know,
exactly.
we can have difficult conversations and then be enjoyable.
Absolutely.
In some respects. Like, you know, I'm not saying this isn't heavy, and I know you've said, like, you've been to some places today that you maybe, you know, that are still difficult for you.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. But equally, all it will do is help me get to know you better. It'll enrich our relationship. I feel like I know you. I've listened to all your music, and actually having you in the same room and talking to you one-on-one, it's engaging, and it overlaps with people's experiences. I don't know why people don't do it more.
It's a beautiful thing, man. I think part of it is that they're petrified about how they're going to be perceived.
Yeah.
I have this constant battle about that particular thing, actually, where, like, what people think of me actually does matter.
Yeah.
To an extent that it shouldn't.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because, like, there's certain situations I'm like, whatever, man, you know. But what matters to me is, like, it's like legacy. Like, what are you going to be remembered for?
Yeah.
I don't want people to remember me as this guy who was drinking at shows all the time and just slagged everybody off and did all that. I don't want people to remember me like that.
No.
Like, that actually is important to me. That, you know, when my kids have grown up, they'll go, hey, actually, he wasn't a bad person.
Yo.
You know, and that matters to me, man.
Yeah.
I could never die because my legacy is set in stone. So when I pass, take that as if I said no. Been ahead of my time like the watch broke. My dreams are crashing down like the stock broke. And this is living hell to see. Everyone hates each other, no wonder there's no self-esteem. I'm growing over my entity, mowing over the soldiers the devil tried to send to me. In life I'm a seeker, alive from the seizure, like Christ the Redeemer. I fight for a reason, My hype has no ceiling. Drowning in the bubble bath, disposal of my body in the bubble wrap. Son of a drink afflicted father. But my dad was the son of a drink afflicted father. I was destined to write a suicide note. Real talk, I read it. No positive karma.
Patient, but it's too many years that I've been waiting. I put in all the work and they still wanna hate it. I feel like I've been waiting ages. Gotta be patient.
Yeah. So, like, I think it's about, a part of it is about how people think it's going to come across.
Yeah.
And this is like, you know, what you guys say, don't man up, speak up. Like, you need to speak up, but it must be with somebody, it must be with the right kind of person. And I think that's important to mention. Because, like, if, particularly with young people, they will say, they'll hear that and they'll go, okay, I'm going to talk to my friend about it.
Yeah.
But if they don't receive that information well, and that person doesn't respond to that information well, that's going to shut that person down even more.
That's a really, really valid point.
So, like, it has to be somebody that you trust.
Yeah.
Like,
and that you feel safe with, and that you
Yes.
can get it wrong with as well. Because I think if you haven't talked about it very much,
Yeah.
you can find yourself saying it wrong. When it's in here, it's hard to get it out there
Course.
in an accurate way.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of useful to practice with people who you trust before
Yeah.
you maybe have the big conversation with a family member or a best friend, or, you know,
Definitely.
and also so that you can accept that if they're not in a place to accept it straight
Yeah.
away and they struggle with it, like one of the things that people talk about around people who are suicidal is that they will often give off hints. They will often give off signs, but that people are they struggle so much with that topic. There's so much stigma around it that they'll say things like, "Tell me you're not going to do something silly," or
Yes.
you know, or they'll turn it to something positive because they think they need to cheer them up rather than actually validate what they're going through.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. You can understand why people do it, but it's not conducive to giving someone the space they need to actually get it out there, is it?
Definitely. It's with topics like that, you have to be direct.
Yeah,
Like if somebody discloses something to me,
yeah,
I have to be direct in understanding. So are you talking about this?
yeah,
Because I can't go based on an assumption.
No.
If I assume things, I can
Yeah.
assume things all day long.
yeah, yeah.
Again, it's not accurate enough.
No,
It
it's not fair on them or
no,
you, is it?
it's
Really?
not. So it's like, are you telling me
Yeah,
that this is what you are saying? Because
Yeah.
people say things in different ways.
Yeah.
They allude to things.
of course they do.
They're not direct because, like you said, they're trying to
Yeah.
say it.
I just can't go on. Do you mean
Exactly.
you've had a rough day and you want to get into bed, or are you suicidal right now?
Exactly.
And how can I support you?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not a weakness to say it out loud.
No.
But I think for men, actually getting to that place and feeling like they can say it, you know, it takes a lot.
The whole premise of the speaking up thing, right, is like, I've been saying this for years.
And you've been
seriously.
doing it. You
And
have been saying
I have
it.
been doing it, but it's like the problem we've got is that it's such a generational, old school mindset.
Yeah,
We're having to break that.
Yeah.
It's like racism.
yeah,
It's like homophobia.
yeah,
It's like all this stuff is coming from a place where it's like this has been like heavily influenced and almost bred into
yeah,
the children that have grown up
Yeah.
into now adults.
yeah.
So they are misogynistic. They
Yeah.
are racist. They
Yeah.
are all these things because that's what
Their
their parents were like
yeah.
and their grandparents were like, and they can justify it like, oh, well, that's what it was like back then.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we live in a different time.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't work here anymore.
And we can reframe it. We can
We
redefine
can.
it. We can change our own mind if we want.
We
but,
can.
But it does mean you have to talk about it.
Just because you've done something and
Yeah.
you're my grandparent doesn't mean I have to do the same as you.
No.
We're two totally different people.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be who you are.
No.
Unless you're a good model of a human
Yeah.
being, I'm going to inspire to be like you. Other than that, man, I've been through the challenges I've been through. I know what's right and wrong. Like,
Yeah.
if I make a bad decision now, I'm the one to blame for it. I have to take accountability for that.
It's yeah, and there's a lot of that comes out in your music as well. Is that kind of it would be easy to be like, I was 15, I went through the worst shit anyone could go through, and it wasn't my fault, and there was no one to support me, and then you blame everybody else. But
Yeah.
like you say, some of it is about going, that happened, and actually I can change it for myself.
That's right.
Which again is big, because if you're suppressing stuff a lot, then anger and blame and guilt and shame and all that is what you're gonna probably feel.
Pure toxic
Yeah.
feelings, man. You don't need that. And that comes back to the social media stuff again. I don't want to contribute to that negative vibe.
No.
I don't want to bring negative energy to anybody.
No,
You
well,
know
you
what I mean?
don't, man. Honestly, like your stories will just be like, "Have a wonderful day," like, bless you.
Yeah.
I sense a little bit of faith there with some of the posts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Have you got faith, and is that important to you? And how much of that is in your music and stuff?
It is important to me, yeah. I think I don't know whether which exact religion you would call it. You know,
Yeah.
it's not like I follow one
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Christianity or Islam, or it's kind of like I've studied lots of different religions actually. So I think there's truth in lots of different elements of those
Yeah.
books. I've read those books.
Yeah,
And studied them in detail because I pick everything apart.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I can't just leave something alone. It's like
So that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna absolutely,
Yeah,
completely turn it inside
exactly.
out to understand it.
Exactly, and I think a lot of like the Quran and the Bible, those things are about like um, people take things on face value sometimes,
Yeah.
and I think it's not necessarily always the case.
Yeah.
But if you care enough to actually look into it, so the messages within those things are very powerful.
Yeah.
And I think they are ultimately a guide of how to live. You know,
Yeah.
and it gives me some sort of comfort because when you feel like something really bad is going on, I read a quote once and it was actually on a t-shirt and it said everybody prays in the end. And I just thought that was really powerful because it's
Wow,
like
yeah.
when, say, you're losing the most important person in your life, that is out of your control.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not. I
Yeah.
couldn't change what happened on that day.
Yeah.
I couldn't have brought him back.
No. So
I
you've
couldn't
got
have
to
brought my
hope there's
dad
a
back.
higher power to.
So the only thing you have left is to get down
Wow.
on
yeah.
your hands and knees, and you
Yeah.
better pray to something because
Yeah.
that is the only thing in that moment that you have left.
Yeah.
And that's why I think I relate to those
Yeah.
that faith side of it so much because
Yeah.
from feeling like you were on your own, and trying to manage things, where do you turn?
Yeah.
You don't know where to turn. You
No.
don't know who to call for advice. You know, I could call my mum. That's fantastic. And I'm
Yeah.
so grateful for everything that my mum has done.
Yeah.
She's been like the glue that held us together. But, you know, as a male, you need other things. You
Yeah.
need those interactions.
A connection and
Yeah.
And I think more and more people people are finding spirituality again, whatever word is right
Yes.
for you. I think since finding a purpose with Menfulness, since having a daughter, since kind of realizing the power of my own mind and the damage and good it can do.
Yeah.
Like I've felt more and more. I'm a staunch atheist for my entire life,
Right.
but there's definitely more of a connection that I feel to other people and to the universe than I've ever
Yes.
felt before. And so, I think like you have not done anywhere near the sort of reading that you have, but I can sort of respect each person's right to need that connection
Yeah.
to something bigger than they are.
Yeah.
Whatever that looks like. And so when I look at your socials, you're offsetting the negativity that social media can bring, because if it's not brilliant music, it's positive messages. I mean, you put one out the other day. If you're happy to talk about it, it's your call, obviously. About the weight loss, the transition that you've been through from I don't know how long ago it was exactly, but you posted 2 photographs and you posted a really incredible caption about your journey. Are you happy to share a bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. So I lost. I was 22 stone 2 at my heaviest.
Yeah.
Right, that's 310 pounds, man. That's a lot of weight. I'm 6'2", but that's still a lot of weight.
Yeah.
You know, if I was shorter than that, I would have looked probably even worse. Do you know what I mean? It's just fortunate that I'm taller and I can carry more weight generally anyway. But even I felt rough at that weight. So that's kind of when I thought this is becoming a serious problem now.
And when was that?
So I've done it twice, to be honest. I've lost a lot of weight twice. I believe it was maybe 3 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
And up until this day, I've lost like 75 pounds, which is like 5 stone 2 or 3 or something like that.
That's an incredible achievement, man.
That's 33 kilos,
that's
man.
mad.
And that's what I said in the post. Put 33 kilos in a backpack and go for a walk.
Yeah.
Like, that is heavy, man.
Yeah.
So, like, the first time I did it through diet. It took me a year. So I was just eating healthy. Then I started to put weight back on. So I did it again, and I started running, long distance running. And I lost the same amount of weight in like 6 months. So it cut down the amount of time it took by half.
Yeah.
The problem with that long distance running, like I did my first half marathon,
That's amazing.
crazy achievement, man.
Yeah.
From never running ever in my life, from being the guy at like, sports day who just didn't want to do it
Yeah.
at all, hated it,
Yeah.
to running half a marathon, like, that is wild for me.
And do you just switch it on one day? Just like, right, I'm going to just start running and then I'm just going to push it until I can't push it
No,
anymore.
it started with a couch to 5K, actually.
Right, yeah.
I started that. Me and my wife did it. And then I like everything in my life, I've got an addictive personality.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
problem. So I went like over, like just going hard with it, you know,
Yeah.
like
Once you start to see a change as well, it is quite addictive, isn't it?
man, it was losing weight every single day.
Yeah.
It was just unbelievable.
Did you diet as well then?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you just
Yes, I was
went for it.
dieting and running. The problem with long distance running I found was that you're really prone to injuries.
Yeah.
So I was getting like I had really bad knees at one point. Like I had really bad ligament damage in both knees because I was running at like 21 stone.
And do you think this was because you were running too far all at once? You were just
Yes.
like, I can do it, so I'm just going to do it
It was
regardless.
pure psychological.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not going to be defeated by this.
Yeah.
So it's the first time I did a 10K. I'd never really done a 5K. So I did a 5K, went home, and then came back and did another 5K. And at the end of that 5K, it felt like there was broken glass inside my knees. And for about 3 weeks, I could barely move. I couldn't walk up the stairs.
Oh, no.
But that's how strong my
Yeah.
mindset was. It's like, I'm not going to be beaten by it.
Yeah.
My body will always give up before my mind will.
Yeah.
So
You made a decision and you followed
that
it
was
through.
it. I'm stubborn, yeah.
And so what about now? That's over 5 stone.
Yeah.
Is an incredible achievement.
Yeah.
A half marathon is an incredible achievement. What's that? 13 miles.
13.1 miles, yeah. And I ran the York 10K as well, raised money for York Mine. So.
Yeah, I did the 10K. That was my first ever sort of public run.
Yeah, me too.
Proper run.
Yeah.
And there's something lovely about running with people at the sidelines.
Oh,
and
man,
it's a
it was
really nice
awesome.
event, wasn't it?
It was amazing.
Through the city and stuff. It felt really good.
Yeah.
That.
And they said to me, there was like, oh, it's a really flat surface. And I started running. I was like, this ain't a flat surface at all. I was like, you're going through York. It's like up and
Cobbles
it's like
and
a bowl, isn't it? Yeah, but no, it was awesome, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. Loved it. And now I do kickboxing. So
Yes. Yeah, so this is quite a recent thing, is it?
yeah, so I've been training for about, it's almost 6 months. Not
Right.
a long time at all.
Yeah, yeah.
The problem I got was when I was long distance running, I got to this weight that I'm at now, which is like 230 pounds. But I looked really like emaciated. I looked
Right.
like a skeleton because I was doing no strength training
And you were
whatsoever.
dieting as well, so you were just
Yeah, it was just like you start to look like a marathon runner. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No disrespect, but
Yeah.
like just like really thin.
Yeah.
And that's the same way I am now. It's weird, you know, how your body like changes depending on
What you're
you're
putting
actually
it
doing.
through, yeah.
So now I do like strength training as well. Obviously, I'm slinging head kicks all over
Yeah,
the place.
yeah.
I'm sparring. I've just started sparring.
So you're burning the calories, but you're doing it. You're building muscle and stuff at the same time.
It's like
strength.
you're doing it simultaneously
Yeah.
almost. It's crazy.
Yeah, we've had a few people on who kickboxing for them. Well, just martial arts generally
Yeah.
has been like a big game changer, both for physicality but also mindset as well. So have you found that it's helping you, mentally as well?
It definitely does those things.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. I think it's like it's another release.
Yeah.
Like music is a release for me.
Yeah,
This is just another release.
Yeah.
But actually, you're learning new skills. It's like music as well because there's always something new to learn.
yeah.
You know, just by pivoting your foot that slight bit more, you will get more torque on.
This is tweaking a drum
Yes.
slightly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
you're making minor macro adjustments that make a huge difference. It's like mixing and mastering, you know. It's like once you know what you're doing and why something happens a certain way, why you have to twist that way,
Yeah.
it changes and you're like, whoa. And then people are saying, didn't know your hook was that hard.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's working then.
Yeah, it's working.
That's cool, man. Amazing, thank you. So a few little questions, if that's all right. What I was going to ask you is, what has been your most important moment in your musical journey so far? Would you say?
I would probably say being at Abbey Road, to be honest. Going into Abbey Road Studios, like, you're rubbing shoulders with giants there, man. You walk in there and I felt like it was like some sort of, it's just like the vibe you got. It was like you was around greatness.
You could sense the history in there.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. Walking over that
And is there like
crossing.
Oh, I bet, man.
Oh man. And then you're not even going in at that point.
Yeah.
You're just walking down
the
the street,
neighborhood,
bro.
yeah.
Like, you get in there, man, and it's like, it's just unbelievable. Like, you can feel the greatness in there.
Yeah.
And that experience taught me that, actually, because I met loads of famous people from that. There was like Zane Lowe was there, and Newton Faulkner was there, and there was loads of people there,
Yeah.
loads of rappers.
Recording
and
and stuff at the time.
stuff. No, so it was like a masterclass that the
I see.
BBC did.
Yeah.
So it was like you met industry professionals basically,
I
and
remember
they
them
sort of taught
doing
you.
these. Yeah.
Yeah, this was 2012.
Yeah. Wow. 10 years ago.
Yeah, crazy. So yeah, but that taught me that they are just people. Because I think we put people on a pedestal, like
Yeah.
on TV or radio or whatever. They're just the same as me and you.
Yeah.
So like that's what it taught me. Actually, I can do this then
Yeah.
because they're just like me.
Yeah.
They eat
I
just
don't-
like I do. They go to sleep like I do.
Yeah.
They're breathing.
They're not superhuman. They've probably had some luck or the right person at the right time,
Yes.
there's a lot. It sounds like there's a lot of that in the music industry. Kind of, regardless of how good you are, you also need quite a lot of other things to go your way to get the exposure you need.
It's
right?
a big topic, that, man, to be
Yeah.
honest. But like, the music industry isn't all what it seems to be presented as. It's not all lights and money, and
Yeah.
particularly in rap,
Yeah.
there's such a stereotype on rap that it's all about cars and women and jewelry
Yeah.
and all that. Don't get me wrong, I like jewelry and you know, but like I'm not driven by those things.
I think historically that's what people would talk about quite a lot
Yes.
in their music, wouldn't they? That kind of representing
Yeah.
before actually achieving was quite
Yeah.
a big thing in
Exactly.
that scene.
It's almost like a fake it before you
Yeah.
make it thing. And I get that to a certain extent, but like it's quite a dark industry if I'm being honest, man.
Yeah.
It's like you basically become a product. So you're like a can of Coke on the shelf almost, you know. It looks wrapped up really nicely. Look at the packaging. The label's
Yeah.
nice, isn't it? It's nice and cold when you touch it, and this is how it's presented in the shop. That's how what happens.
I suppose that's all well and good if you're pretending to be something, or you're not putting your entire self into your music.
Yeah.
But if you are, I can imagine you would not want to become that when everything is on the line. Your
No.
entire person is at stake. You
No,
know?
exactly. And it's not like it was back in the day when the Beatles were dropping
No.
that music. It's that time period there was based totally on skill,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because they were so talented. Now, anybody can do it. Anybody
Yeah.
can do all those things. They can release music themselves.
Yeah.
They can go viral. You know, there's loads of different ways of doing it.
Yeah.
I don't believe in the viral thing, by the way. I don't think it's consistent enough.
It's sustainable. If you
It's
go
not-
viral,
yeah.
it doesn't necessarily mean that you'll stay
No,
important.
that's right.
presumably, Yeah.
But like, I just feel like it's a bit of a sketchy industry, man.
Yeah.
Because like, if you get signed to a major label, it's like, right, if they offer you 100K, say, to do 5 albums or whatever, that gives you a good indication as to how much money they think that they can make out of you.
Yeah.
Because if you take that 100K,
Yeah.
you have to give all that money back.
Yeah.
You aren't seeing no royalties.
No.
A lot of people get caught up in really bad deals,
Yeah.
so that they don't ever own the masters.
They're signing away their content, and I guess as well, they're owing quite a bit of money.
Absolutely.
You're starting from a long way behind the start line,
Yeah.
sort of thing.
In the hope that they recuperate that money, so they can go gold or platinum and that. Some people aren't even making any money off that.
Wow.
So they've signed it away for. The only bonus out of that is you've signed all that away for recognition.
And exposure, presumably.
Exposure,
as well.
yeah,
'Cause
exactly.
You've got more of an opportunity if someone will let you in and
Exactly.
promote you a bit.
But what if in that deal you made Can't Touch This?
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
that song,
Yeah.
you're never going to own it. You'll
Yeah.
never earn anything ever again.
Yeah.
This happened with Juice WRLD and that song he put out. He sampled the Police song or something like
yeah.
that. I can't remember exactly what song it was now. That Lucid Dreams track.
Oh, yeah, I know which one you mean, yeah.
Didn't earn a penny from it.
Wow. What, because it was using someone
Yeah.
else's
Yeah,
music,
exactly.
yeah.
So that's slightly different, but
But still, someone
Still.
made some serious money
yeah,
off it.
absolutely. That was a huge song.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, it's not all what. And then you sort of got to fight. If you get a hit record
Yeah.
under that, it's more than likely you don't own it. So
Yeah.
I would say, like, if you're in a position to get offered a record deal, you don't need a record deal.
Yeah. Rely on the quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Um,
if you're being offered a record deal, they know they can make money out of you.
Yeah.
So you've already built that fan base. You've already established it.
Yeah.
So their job is dead easy at that point.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah, absolutely.
That's-
Is that why you have Enemy Lines? Then is that
Yeah.
so you can put out your own music, your own label sort of thing?
Yeah, definitely, because I think you can do it independently.
Yeah.
And to be honest, would I sign a major deal? I don't know. Maybe I would.
It'd be hard to turn down some of them zeros,
Absolutely.
wouldn't it?
But I certainly wouldn't take a massive advance.
No.
I would take the smallest advance possible.
Yeah.
That's a tip if anybody's interested and it goes into that situation.
Yeah.
Don't take what they're offering you.
No. Have you got any tips for if people want to create art from their experiences and struggles? Have you got any words of advice aside from don't take the the deal?
I think just go for it, man.
Yeah.
It like I said, the art form isn't what's important. It's about what works for you. I would love to just be able to give everybody the golden key and say this is how you do it.
Yeah.
It's not like that. So first of all, try things.
Yeah.
Some people have said to me in the past, I don't have any hobbies. I'm like, how do you not have a hobby? Like, go try stuff out. It doesn't necessarily have to cost money.
No.
Or research things. How do I make a pop beat?
Yeah.
Go on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's all free information.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff on YouTube is amazing.
It is.
I've spent years on YouTube looking at
free courses for
exactly.
stuff. Yeah.
Stuff like that. When the internet's utilised in that way, amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, try things out. It might not even be a creative thing. It might be you express yourself through, I don't know, putting flooring down.
Yeah.
It could be anything.
Yeah, yeah.
But that to you doing that job is it makes all the difference to you.
Yeah. Well, in coaching they call it the flow, where you're challenged and your abilities match your challenge and you're in that zone. And actually it doesn't necessarily have to be, something, a sport or something like that. It could be anything. If you get a challenge and you can be good at something and it's for you, then it kind of it helps sort of give you a purpose and make your life feel richer.
Yeah, definitely. And that's so important. A focus everybody has to have.
Yeah.
If you don't have a focus, you're just floating around in thin air with no aim and no objective and no direction that you're going. I can't live my life like that.
Yeah.
Like my wife said to me, like, you move from one thing to the next so quickly. I'm like, yeah, because I've got so many
You're
ideas.
trying stuff, yeah.
Yeah, it's like I can't. The problem I've got is that there's not enough time in a lifetime to do all the things that I want to do.
Yeah, yeah.
So going from a space where it was like I don't want to be alive anymore to now being like there's not enough time.
Yeah, yeah.
Look
That's
at
amazing.
That just proves that you can do it.
Yeah, that's incredible, man.
But the focus has to be there.
Yeah.
You have to be driven by something.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, the focus is really important, particularly out of work and school and outside of those commitments.
Yeah, because the dream would be to find a job where that's possible at the same time, but very few actually find that. So and it's easy to be so consumed by your work that you don't leave space.
Yeah.
And I remember when I knew we were going to be parents, being like, I can't just be a parent. Like, she is everything to me and to Anna. But equally, we know that we have to remain interesting. We have to still do. We don't want to just be parents. We want to still be Sam and Anna sometimes.
100%. That's so important just for a relationship anyway.
Yeah.
You can't just be the parent.
Yeah.
You're still human beings yourself.
Yeah.
Yes, things in your life have to slow down.
Yeah.
And maybe even go on hold.
Yeah.
But you still have to make time for each other, and
Yeah.
that. Otherwise, you're going into some bad times because you're not making the necessary time to strengthen.
Yeah, it's not progress. It can get stagnant, and and it's one of the most stressful times we've been through, and most rewarding. But equally, having that stuff for yourself, I'm guessing for you, it's like studio time. Get in there and seal yourself off from the world and go start tweaking those drums. You spend quite a lot of time in there, do you?
I don't know how I do it. I actually don't know how I fit everything.
Yeah,
in.
You've got a job, you've got a family.
It's unbelievable, man. Because I almost have to. I do have to dedicate that time to it.
Yeah.
But I have to make the most of the time doing it as well.
Yeah.
So if I've got like 4 hours in the studio, I have to have 5 songs written and know exactly where those things are going to go. So I can just go in there and just record it and then move to the next one,
So you writing all the time? Or do you
all
go
the
into the
time.
studio and sit and write while
No.
you're in there? Right,
No,
so you what, your phone out, notes in your phone and stuff?
Very rare I go to the studio and write.
Yeah,
I'm writing everywhere else.
right, yeah.
In my daily life, I'll think of a word scheme. Words come into my head all the time.
Yeah,
And how can I change the flow of this? Like, you know, I get obsessed with it, man.
Yeah.
It's like you're really trying to analyze it and pick it apart. I've got like, there must be over like 600 notes in my phone, just of ideas, lyrics.
yeah.
There's like 800 songs on my hard drive that I've never released.
Oh, God. Honestly,
I swear down.
800 songs.
Yeah,
What?
yeah, I swear
Madness.
down.
How
man.
do you decide when one's, you know, is it just like you'll have a go and go, no, but I'll save it? Or how do you decide which ones make it and which ones don't? And,
It's really hard.
yeah,
Because I am a perfectionist.
right.
I don't like to put something out that I think I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
Because that's like almost a sign to me where it's like, nah, it's not meant to go out, that one.
Right.
But then there are some amazing songs that I've made that I've not put out. Some of them are like half done. Some
Yeah.
of them are like maybe just a chorus.
Right.
But like there's so much there.
So you got like a folder that's like one day, a folder that's like finished but not quite good enough.
It's not that. No, it's not like all set up like that, man. It's just like song. And I've got the nightmare of trying to find what's
Figure
a
out
full
which one
song.
is. Oh, man.
And then like when I'm mixing and mastering, I'll have like whatever the title is, mix 1, and then I'll listen to it for a few days, and I'm like, so then I've got mix 2 and mix 3, and
Yeah.
I'm like master 1, final master, absolute final master.
Yeah.
And
I know
I'm
I
like-
said it was the final master, but this one really is.
Yeah. So I'm like, which is the final master?
Amazing. That's cool, man. What are you listening to at the moment? What's on your playlist?
Oh man, what's on my playlist? All sorts. I listen to some drill music. I don't like a lot of the drill music though because it's the actual lyrical content is not I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's very aggressive.
Yeah.
Talking about things that I would never talk about. So
You like the style, but
yeah,
not necessarily the content.
it's more the production, to be
Yeah.
honest, that gets me excited. And then I've got stuff like I've got like 50 Cent on there. I've got Johnny Cash on there. I've got Linkin Park on there.
Yeah.
You know, Metallica.
So still you keeping it old school with some
Yeah, I
of your
listen
playlists,
to
yeah.
all sorts.
Yeah.
All sorts of stuff
Cool,
because
man.
I just think I get bored of stuff
Yeah,
quite
yeah.
quickly.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I like a lot of dancehall music as well.
Oh,
it's-
yeah?
It's very varied, yeah.
You've not made any dance hall yet, though.
No, I'm waiting for the right artist
Yeah.
to collab with on
Sweet.
that.
No, that's cool. That's cool. So we talk about what's next for you, if that's cool. Because
Yeah.
we've got a new tune coming out. We mentioned already. All hands on deck. When's that?
So that drops on the 2nd of December. We're shooting the music video for that, so that'll all definitely be out by the time this is out.
Oh, that's exciting, man. Tell me about the music video then. Where's
Oh,
Where's
man.
that going to be shot and who's in it and what's?
The music video is literally a pull up and shoot job.
Oh, yeah?
To be honest, it's going to cause quite a lot of attention, I believe. Not far from this location we're at right now. I'll say no more.
Yeah, all hands on deck. Man, I go here, put a bang on chest. Stand to attention, learn your lesson. Match on left, right, left. Hit 'em with a left, right, left. Got trolls not talking the fur on your head. Can't hear words on the net. Too real, I'm blessed in the flesh. All hands on deck. Man, I go here, put a bang on chest. Stand to attention, learn your lesson. Match on left, right, left. Hit 'em with a left, right, left. Got trolls not talking the fur on your head. Can't hear words on the net. Too real, I'm blessed in the flesh. This here life starts at 30. Tell me how I get so sturdy. Shell off the scene from early, and I hit the hole in one, no birdie. North side, know that I'm 30. West side, know that I'm worthy. It's been a hell of a journey, gotta make 'em all drop to the floor like a birdie. Yeah, crown me king, crawl back to the hole, digger found him in. Everybody asking where the album is, don't worry about that, man, I'm actually sick. Put man back in the lift with the garbage that man actually bring. Twist up your head like I'm crazy, switch up the West life and pay me. Too lit. All they ever want is new music. Pulling out pins on a voodoo tip. I'm nice, I'm fresh, and I got cash. I don't need that. Are you mad? I got a house and a car, that's that. And my kids got more than I had. And I know that I don't have a dad. Who cares, I'm aware. I don't need to hustle on the stairs. And I know that I don't have hair. Thank you for stating they got figures. Speaking ill of the king is preposterous. Are all on my ones, not lots of us. Yeah, and I spit so much heat stroke my esophagus. Yeah, all hands on deck. Man, I go here, put a bang on chest. Stand to attention, learn your lesson. Match on left, right, left.
But yeah, it's going to be awesome, man. I don't like to plan things like that.
Yeah.
I think unless there's an actual real concept behind it, I'm just pulling
Then
up
go
and
make
shooting.
some. Yeah, that sounds amazing, mate. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
4K slow-mo, proper
Man,
productions.
is Kev doing it? Who's shooting it?
Yeah, Kev's going to shoot it.
Amazing.
Got quite a few people coming down, hopefully.
Well,
Yeah.
fingers crossed for you, man. That's exciting.
Cheers, man.
And new album,
Yeah.
full album.
Yeah, full album, yeah.
When's that going to come?
I'm looking at February, because we're trying to get a show booked in for February as well in
amazing.
York, so to sort of align with it. But it's sort of in the process at the moment.
That's
the album's
exciting.
not totally finished, but
Is that not pressure then? Being like, right, I've set myself February.
yeah.
If you book a show, but I haven't finished the album, how do you know? How do you decide when it's like, right, that's done?
Sometimes the pressure's good though.
Is it right?
Yeah.
Gives you a
pressure's
target.
necessary sometimes. I
Yeah.
think because it pushes you to go to the goal.
Yeah.
Otherwise, again, it's like there's no focus.
Yeah, when's it finished?
So you're like, oh, well, I could maybe do it then. Or I
Yeah.
could maybe do it. It's like, no, you've got to do
Set
it
the
then.
date.
It's
I like that.
mandatory, and you have to get up and get it done. So that's it. And you got to remember, man, it's really just me doing all these
Yeah.
things. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have a team of producers and
No.
engineers, like, doing the whole thing.
Yeah.
So it is time consuming, but it's going to be worth it, man.
Yeah, man. Good stuff. I'm so excited, mate. And I'm glad to hear there's going to be some shows off the back of it too.
Yes.
So for people who want to connect with your music, obviously we've talked Spotify. I found loads more stuff on Bandcamp, so that's kritikal.bandcamp.com, yeah?
That's right, yeah.
And you can most of the music is on there, but also you can donate, you can pay as you feel on there, which is
Yeah.
amazing. So please do go along and show Kritikal your support, please. Look out for the new album. You're also active on SoundCloud.
Yeah, so there's it's over 750,000 plays on SoundCloud now.
So
Which
you're
is
nearly at
awesome.
that million. You're
I'm nearly at a million,
Yeah.
man. I'm going to do a special dance on social media when I get to
Yeah,
a milli.
that's amazing. Yeah, across all the tunes, it's
Yeah.
nearly there. It's a shame you can't monetize that platform.
Yeah,
Then.
well, the goal now, what you're going to see from now until throughout next year, is that those people are going to start to move over to Spotify.
right.
So my goal is to get more people listening on Spotify because it's just more accessible
Yeah,
for people.
yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
Like I said, SoundCloud, I set that up in 2009.
Yeah.
So that's just been the place I've just uploaded all of my music, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, just Instagram. I'm most active on Instagram, to be
Yeah.
honest, in terms of socials.
Yeah.
I've got a Facebook page as well, but that's it, man.
Ace, man. Thank you. We're making a playlist, so we've got a couple of tunes of yours to add to our For the Record. So we've got Happy Song. Can you tell us a little bit about this? We've got Mika, We Are Golden.
Yeah. Yeah, man, that's a really
It's
random one.
Really happy song, though. Very, very happy.
It is, and I feel like Mika is just like doesn't care at all.
Yeah.
And I love that about him.
Yeah.
Like, he's absolutely okay. Well, it seems like it to me. Maybe
He's
he's
super
not.
flamboyant and really proud about it. and
Yeah.
It's quite liberating, isn't it?
It is. And if that's actually, it doesn't matter what to me. Like, if that, I don't think that's a show that he's
No.
putting on there. I think he's actually like that.
Yeah.
And that's just amazing.
Yeah.
I inspire to be like that.
Yeah. Totally you.
Yeah, just like he's okay with who he is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And no worries about it. He'll jump around on that music video in his pants, man, and just having the time of his life.
Is this
and
the
I'm
next
like,
music video?
Yeah, I'm just like, no, not me, man. No, definitely not. But I just love his energy, I think.
Yeah.
And that song's a really,
It's got a really nice message as well, hasn't it? So
Yeah.
that's perfect, man. Thank you. And then sad song, we've got Burner Boy, Pre Me.
yeah. That's just like what he's saying in it is like people that used to love him sort of turned on him.
Yeah.
It's quite dark.
Yeah.
But I related to some of what he was saying.
Yeah.
And I just think he's an amazing artist.
He
like
is.
that song, I saw a version of it live. Every single person had the lights on their phone. It was a huge like stadium or something.
Yeah.
And everybody's singing it, man. That was powerful.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's why I got people to do at my last gig.
Oh yeah.
When I sang Loving, yeah.
This is at the Fulford Arms.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I said
That looks so
everybody
good.
got their phones out and it was awesome. So
Yeah.
yeah, man.
Amazing. Thank you, and thanks for your time today and coming here and for the music and just for your, honesty and just genuinely, man, this has been a super treat for me. I hope we can do this again sometime. And,
Definitely, man.
If there's anything that we can share, like I say, we're here for it, man. So keep us posted on your progress, and thank you again.
I will do. Thank you very much, man.
Until next time, brother.
Peace.
Peace.
I don't want to hear man say bank. I've been going off on one like a Kanye rant. You the small fish in the tank with the piranhas in. Sipping from a glass, you don't know the half of it. Beast mode, no cheat code. Freeze flow when I rap, no the beat froze. We know, I said we know. They already know I'm as Yorkshire as it gets. Sipping Yorkshire tea in the mortuary. And that shit better be hot, no 4 degrees. No me, kid vibes, night rider. Sipping tea out, fine bone China. Passed down for one man and a hat. Wearing paws, no protection from the anorak. Pain in my energy, I channel that. Cold hard headed like Marowak. Cause I'm bodying the beat and my flow, you can borrow that, rubbing it for free. Pen game strong, not a wrist stick. I'm a piss tick, about me, that's a mistake. Hyperventilating through your rib cage. Insane, not right, in a big way. I've been in the grave more time, now I'm back, and I'm sorry that I went away. My year, this is my year. No longer will I cry tears. I'm sorry that I left in a mess, now I'm back, and forever I'll be right here. My year, this is my year. No longer will I cry tears. I'm sorry that I left in a mess, now I'm back, and forever I'll be right here. Couple things I had to set straight. My worst days have been some of your best days. The next stage is just going in forevermore. I'm the future champ like Houston at Bellator. I just want a house in the hills. I don't want to take a shower in the fountain of guilt. Think I step within an ounce of my skill. I'm the count when I kill, now the death toll rises. I'm untouchable when stepping in them ciphers. Penny for your thoughts on that coronavirus. I'm not on it, I'm not full of scare tactics. One punch on Boris watching backflip. Look, a politician good at gymnastics. Zangief, I've been nice with a back fist. There's another body, let me catch it. On the beat, I've been snapping like a matchstick. Cause I've been on it since the drop of the chronic. I live in solace every time I'm dropping knowledge. Pupil up in the college, I grab a beat and I'm on it. Mr. Wong not on long, this is diabolic, I abolish. I got the Midas touch, I see gold in the records that I have done. Real talk, I'm better than ever before. I carry the weight of the world no more. Real talk, my year, this is my year. No longer will I cry tears. I'm sorry that I left in a mess, now I'm back, and forever I'll be right here. My year, this is my year. No longer will I cry tears. I'm sorry that I left in a mess, now I'm back, and forever I'll be right here. Frostbit floors, I'm making water solidify, heating every back from my opening soliloquy. I mean soliloquy, powerful delivery, the blast radius will blow your whole squad to smithereens. 4 stone less with a shaved head, 4 patterns on that brand new wavelength. Aim for the head, I just aim for the apex, no indirect, I don't have time to make threats. I'm running up the one that blocked the G, but it's not stopping me, I got rights and a policy, yeah. And when I seize the day, every day's a celebration, it's a piece of cake. No snakes in a way like Theresa May. Every time I hear a verse, I'm hearing fecal spray. That's right. And you hope for better, man, I wish for worse. If I pull up in a suit, I'm looking Mr. Burns. 12 years work, man, the rest should know. Every time I deliver, this shit is pest control. Real talk on the mic, yeah, I set it straight. Every time I war, I'm causing man to hyperventilate. Call me Dr. Crits, that's my professor name. Rappers too busy pouring syrup in their lemonade. Dropping music, you will hardly peak. I'ma offset the culture, no Cardi B. My year, this is my year. No longer will I cry tears. I'm sorry that I left in a mess, now I'm back, and forever I'll be right here. My year, this is my year. No longer will I cry tears. I'm sorry that I left in a mess, now I'm back, and forever I'll be right here.